The Battle Cats is a game I've known since child. As younger, I used many times to download it and just delete it at the end because I never understood its concept and found it too hard to play. More so that I was losing interest rather than anything else. But there was something peculiar about it that always made me come back. It wasn't until around October of 2020 when a close friend of mine asked me about the Battle Cats and I explained the story I had with it. As willing as I was, he made me download it again and start playing. I was late 14 years old then, and had the ability to use my brain more. Something clicked within me after I reached into the future and was getting closer to the subchapter where Rural Wolf resided. For some reason, I told myself, hey, I like this, it's hard, intense, and in a way I fear these stages, and you're telling me they're beatable? At that time I also discovered the Battle Cats wiki. Using my reading comprehension, I started learning about enemy stats, magnifications, threat abilities, standing range, and by finding OG videos, I grasped the importance of meat shielding. Soon after, the game started throwing at me seemingly impossible stages, but instead of getting tired and quitting it again, I was determined to prevail. As I continued to progress past the Rural Wolf and late into the future, I was asking myself, what kind of strategy do I need this time? Is the knockback ability the same as knocking back enemies? Can this unit properly do damage to the enemy without getting destroyed by the other enemy? What do I use knockback for? Should I lower the meat shielding because cash here is scarce and can deploy attackers? Will this combo help? Does it matter how far my attackers went to the battlefield? What the fuck is knockback useful for? Should I get the enemies closer to my base? Will this ability make sense to use it here? Fuck the knockback ability. For some reason I fell in love with the challenge of this game. I loved everything about it. The puzzle, the depth, the skill required, the fearsome enemies, the logic. Pure joy. This 15-year-old boy couldn't ask for something more than that. It was the perfect game. The perfect challenge. Getting into Ketsura Cosmos and Mid SOL was an adventure at its highest. The unique naming of stages resonated with me, especially when I found a stage to be hard and had a cool name. Just by saying the name you could already know if you were mentioning a disaster. Save and not sorry, Cast Out Decay, No More Bad Dreams, Mysterious Order, Leadfoot Drive, and so on. More and more dangers with unique counters and synergies came along. I was hooked. One of the first memories I had for real challenge was angry fighting. The stage in fact I remember making me very angry, waiting to get bomber and then having trouble perm freezing the laners with even freeze up combos. Another one was all platform. It took a while to beat the stage and I wasn't familiar with the copies. I quickly realized that the counter was pretty simple. In fact, the stage is straightforward. Meat shield. But it wasn't that easy for me. It required me to stall at the beginning and tap boxes pixel perfect. I had not yet mastered meat shielding back then. Maybe my units weren't high enough for level, but I just couldn't accept defeat. That is when I also started recording videos of beating certain stages that I really liked and found difficult. I never think my goal was to be recognized or reach fame, but keep them in my YouTube channel as a personal father of so-called achievements and possibly help somebody who would also struggle at that certain stage. That's also when something in my mind popped. If I use Ubers, I could beat it easier. And the fact that I'm recording a video, it would be lame to use Ubers in it. Yes, I played this game with the usage of Ubers. Damn, I beat it Uberless, that's so cool, I said. Through the entirety of Ketsura Cosmos I used Ubers, but I limited myself to 1 or 2 only. Same with SOL, I didn't allow myself to go above 2 as it would become too easy, and I didn't like that idea. Ketsura Cosmos also already forced me to play on heavy restrictions. I really enjoyed stages that didn't allow the usage of Ubers. And so, from time to time I kept recording videos, including earlier SOL stages with higher magnifications. Reaching late SOL, I had it figured out. I don't have fun playing with Ubers as they make it too easy. Keep in mind, the game was still very difficult for me, but it went like that. If I were to struggle for hours on a stage and couldn't beat it, I would finally put some Ubers and get it done. Yeah, I did it, except not really. It wasn't guilt, but certainly not a good feeling. I was disappointed. It felt like cheating. I didn't put effort. I beat the stage, but was not satisfied. There was nothing challenging and intimidating about that. And so, at certain point, I fully stopped using Ubers. I said, I don't want to use Ubers because they make the game too easy, and I want a challenge, a thrill, not just mindlessly tapping on the screen of my phone and get rewarded. It's no fun, that's not the type of game I wanna play. So instead, I did it my way. made my own playstyle and called it Uberless. I'm now an Uberless player, and ever since, I am one, up to this day. It was also at that time where I got involved in the Battlecast Discord communities, and let's just say I wasn't a pretty chill kid and caused fair amount of trouble around. But I also found out that there are more people like me out there, the ones who also deemed themselves as Uberless players, and now started hearing rumors about the legendary players. The ones who restricted themselves as much as possible while beating a certain very difficult stage. I like that, really. I sometimes did it myself, but I never felt like making this as my actual playstyle. I just saw this idea of restricting yourself as much as you can as a unique challenge to do. Then there is the other unique playstyle called No Gacha, but I wasn't that good at the time to take on it, and even then I found myself satisfied enough with keeping my current playstyles Uberless just like that. I feel like a No Gacha playstyle is only worth it for a second account, not your main one. Fun fact is that I did have a No Gacha account at some point, but got bored and forgot about it. It's now lost. Yeah, so I got banned from bot communities because I was that annoying, but this didn't stop me to play the game. I didn't like most people there anyway. It's been years since that happened, so don't cheat on me, please. Just like that, I hopped into Uncanny Legends, the strange cutthroat grind and what followed after. It was never that hard until now. At some point this game was very difficult. I spent countless hours beating a single sub-chapter, and I loved every moment of it. That's when a few stages really stuck in me. Rusborg Vortex, Young Cuttlefish, Unmanned Station, Heron's Skull, Woods of Resentment, Total Myopia, Bad Up of Whimsy, The Belated Priest are just a few examples of my incredible experiences. I had a blast, especially when hyper magnifications came around and kept recording videos even if not that much. I probably had many screenshots that are now lost media. The revolving concept of relics and the insane difficulty UL offered was just the most fun I ever had in this game. And then I watched people like Silman Tomcat do a certain sub-chapter on 3-star, only to find out he has given up on doing a certain stage Uberless and starts complaining while I've already done it myself. I felt cool, knowing I'm doing better than someone I've always looked up to. Call it edgy or overly competitive, whatever man, that's just me I suppose. Through the entirety of UL, I had only used Ubers very few times, and that was before a courier was a thing. I've probably beaten these stages with no Ubers on a higher magnification anyway, don't know. That shit was almost 4 years ago. A courier was also an extremely cool concept that offered many challenges, and late UL took a very interesting path. Honorable mention to Glass Slippers, just for existing. And just like that, everything was perfect until the April of 2022. Courier, the new meta, game changer. Really, it wasn't that much of a bother for me personally, but when I think about it, it gets bad. That's when I said SOL is ruined, and that's a fact. Courier Cat is easily obtainable in early game, the first of many mistakes John Ponus will make. If you think about it just a bit, many of the hardest and most infamous stages in SOL became a joke. Not that it can counter every enemy reach stage, but in general, almost every single stage. A great example is No Return Flights. And just like that, never would a new player experience the raw difficulty of this game anymore. This also weakens the point of an Uberless playstyle, as you can easily deem a courier to be an Uber disguised in the form of a rare unit. So I go Uberless. Power creep has always existed and is inevitable that it will ease the game along with it, which is understandable, but it's done so you can pass stages in the late game. Ponus should have easily had prevented such things by making Courier maybe, just maybe, unlocked in the damn late game and not having it unlocked for a very early game player through easily beatable stages. So no, this wasn't an accident. Ponus made the game so much easier on purpose. What was so special about it is being erased. Mindless tapping of boxes shall prevail. Now what? Create a new playstyle that's the same as Uberless but also refuse the usage of Courier? Nah, not even I will do that. Anyway, whatever, Uncanny Legends, even if also power creep the Courier, it still has some dignity left and is still capable of offering a challenge. Oh wait, finishing UL on 1 star allows you to unlock the true form of the legend units, which all heavily counter relics, so 2 and 3 star magnifications are now also a joke, literally. And that used to be the most fun part of the game, at least for me. Well, that's the type of power creep you should be able to tolerate. Unlike damn courier. Doing early UL on 3 star head modifications boosted twice their base stats, and we didn't have legend units, true forms and courier. That, I may say, was when the game was at its hardest. I really wish it could have stayed that way. The chances are you'd be done with Gates of the Cosmos before finishing SOL, and that's when you will now unlock the talents of Bahamut. Just a simple stage that requires you to have the start anti-alien treasures. At this point, I am flabbergasted by Ponos. Now UL is also a literal joke. A cakewalk, really. Not even an explanation is needed. Just think about it for a moment and see how he can alone break almost every stage. Why do you even need Ubers at this point? Courier, Bahablast, and every other small power creep came along. They all culminated into the new Battle Cats. A game about incompetence, disorganization, triviality, and simplicity. Why go Uberless? Nah, wait, why go no gacha even? Whatever you do, nothing is a challenge anymore. That's how this game has lost its charm. Lost what was so special about it. Everything I loved this game for is now gone. Yes, I am very motivated to open the Battle Cats today, to enter a stage immediately and tap the screen a few times so I can be rewarded with a victory, then close the game after. It is indeed very fun bonus. Man, all these skills and knowledge I've acquired through years of playing and effort are now totally useless? Like, why do I need them? But more importantly, why does anybody need them? I mean, I'm looking at the other players, not me. The way Ponos has changed the things, no one would ever look at Battle Cats the same way me and other niche playstyle enjoyers have. Scary enemies, fearful stages, difficulty, depth, strategy, determination, these things cease to exist in the Battle Cats now. Really, I just can't convince myself otherwise. The game is destroyed to the point of no return. Almost no one cares about this though. People just don't look at this game the way I do. Sorry, but I think almost every Battle Cats player is a noob who doesn't know anything about their own game. They don't care how it works and will never care to improve. Apparently they hate to break a sweat and use their brain. Oh, but I love this game because of the silly cats. Shut up, man! Even a baby who can't speak can win your stage with the Ubers you use. You're lame. Anyway, whatever. Even though it pains me that nobody will ever share the same experience as me, nobody will feel the game the way I did and love it the way I used to. At least I can still have fun myself and enjoy the new content because I'm at the end game, and the power creep that ruined the entire game shouldn't exactly also affect the upcoming updates, since they are made in mind to counter the latest power creep, right? The first few sub-chapters really looked promising for what Zero Legends could turn out to be, but they only looked like it. Most stages are literally in par with early UL difficulty. That's it. In fact, I invented a new fucking playstyle just to keep enjoying the game instead of quitting it. For more than a year now, my playstyle is different. Now, not only do I play Uberless, but I go by the rule of least amount of salt units that can be used to beat a stage. Every single stage past chapter 16 has been done with the new playstyle, and even then, it's still so stupidly easy. Man, can you somehow explain to me how Ponos accidentally makes every single new ZO subchapter to be so badly designed and easy? Nah, they do it on purpose. There's no other possible explanation. They have the tendency to put the ZO boss music at the last stage of each subchapter, trying to frame it as the hardest stage out of all, but it's literally some kind of ongoing joke, I swear. ZO 27 one stage has this crazy boss music as always, but over a single almost with a super metal hippo. What? What do you mean? Yeah, that's so fucking intense. Holy shit, it's so crazy, or I don't know, something. Did you notice how 2-star magnifications are now only 20% boosted while early UL has 2-star as 50% and 3-star as 100%? UL subchapter 7 stage 2, Professor Asshole is 200% on base magnification, 2-star he is 300%. ZO subchapter 5 stage 1, Professor Asshole is 200% yet again on base magnifications, while on 2-star he is just 240%. It is 60% less, and the difference in how late you're into the game is huge. And there's many more examples like that. Actual shame. Even in mid-ZL when all base magnifications are elevated by 20%, 2-star most of the time is still lower than those of early UL. ZL also has a tendency to spam an arrows variant in every single subchapter. If you take a notice, Outstretch, Ostromeda, they're everywhere, and you always beat them in the same way. Enemy synergy is non-existent. Dark Dober too! Dark Dober has made more than 10 appearances, and you literally beat his stage in the same fucking way every single time. There are only 2 stages in the entire ZL saga that are somewhat memorable to me: Heaven Defying Fruit and Smooth Docking. That's it. This game became too easy, too simple, and just plain stupid. It's lost its entire meaning. Oh wait, there's more actually, the new special orbs that boost your unit stats on SOA and UL just like that. Why the holy fuck would you need even more power creep? Roblox simulators have less swap than this shit. At least make fucking Newton fight not get soloed by the asshole that is Courier, bro. And why should I even play 2-star ZL when I'm gonna beat everything with the very same lineups I've already used? What's the point? There's just so much I can complain in detail, but I feel like I wanna wrap up at this point. For the past 2 years I have only been challenged very few times. Heinous Road, Rank 12 and the new Brutal Advents. If you consider that I also do them with the new more restricted playstyle. Okay, now to defend myself. I am not interested in tryharding this game most of the time. So probably many of the stages I have done can be beaten with even fewer swords and generally better, even no gacha. And that's fine. I'm not trying to reach the very limit of possibility. After all, I'm trying to have fun and enjoy the game. It is simply just my own playstyle that I invented, not to get sick of the swap that is the modern battle cats. That's all. Honorable mention! Through the years, getting XP was pretty grindy. Whatever. Bonus made it easier by adding new XP events. That's cool. But then you get the golden CPU and watch ad for doubling your XP. Cool, except you also have this event called Monthly Event All-Stars Grateful Gathering, which rewards you tons of XP and was meant to be dropped on a rare occasion, but now is available at least once every month. And wait! The latest update also made grinding cat fruits way easier. The drill of waiting, grinding, and finally unlocking the true form you've wanted for so long. Well, I can't fucking speak anymore, bro. The drill of waiting, grinding, and finally unlocking the true form you've wanted for so long is now just that fast to obtain. Minimal effort and minimal sense of achievement. No satisfaction whatsoever. Well, I guess that's all I have to say without going too much into detail, because if I do, I could speak for hours. I really hope that I've managed to lay out my main points and really explain the way I feel about the game. It is obvious by now that there's no hope for the Battle Cats to become a better game again. As much as I hate to say it, it's gonna stay mid. Just one more example of a P game getting ruined for whatever reason. Yes, I do understand that Bonus may do all of this so it can attract and keep more players, even if the cost to that is making the entire game brainless for brainless audience. Yeah, sorry man, you should have gotten by now that I'm raw as fuck. I'm not trying to appeal to anyone or get anyone to agree with me. With all that said, what's the conclusion now? No, there is no really conclusion, it's hopeless. Like fucking hopeless.